All right, week 3, day 4. Here we go. I have your bell workout. It should say week 3 or 3-4. That is week 3, day 4. You are so cheerful. All right, capital Y. R is okay. S needs a lowercase. And cheerful is misspelled. Believe it or not, there's only one L in it. Sounds weird, doesn't it? Sounds like a compound word of cheer and full, which is usually F-U-L-L, but actually there's only one L. So, cheer, full, one L. And it's not a question, so it just needs a period. It doesn't say, why are you so cheerful? That would be a question. Hey, Y-O-U. Are so cheerful. Period. Alright, and the math. Alright. 17 and 1071. 14, 8. 584. Subtraction. 1, 1, and 5. That was easy. Nope, no borrowing. 168. I do a little bit of borrowing on that one. All right, 15 times 4. 5 times 4 is 20. Carry 2, 60. Alright, 4 times 10 is 40. 5 times 4 is 20. 60. 16, 60. Alright, old school, 8 times 3 is 24. Carry 2. 8 times 7, 56. Plus 2 is 58. Alright, 70 times 80 is 560. 8 times 3 is 24. 4, 8, 5. 584. 2 of them match up. Hey, 9 times 6, 54. Carry 5. 2 times 9 is 18. 18 plus 5, 23. Sounds like we got the noise. Let me pause this. There. That's a little better. Alright. Oops. Alright. 2 times 90 is 180. And 9 times 6 is 54. Add them. 4, 3, 234, and they match up. 30 times 60 is 180. And 40 times 7 is 280. Alright, 15 divided by 3 is 5, 5 times 3 is 15, 16 divided by 4 is 4, 4 times 4 is 16, 8 divided by 4 is 2, 2 times 4 is 8, 21 divided by 7 is 3, 3 times 7 is 21, 20 divided by 5 is 4, 4 times 5 is 20. Okay, remember you can use your little sheet I gave you, that was your nameplate sheet. You have a multiplication grid and you also have your equivalent fractions chart. So feel free to use those to check your work at first or after you try them, okay? Don't necessarily use it to find the answers, because that's, we try and prepare you as teachers to be able to do work without having tools like a multiplication grid or equivalent fraction chart. You gotta be able to work it out either in your mind or on a piece of paper or somehow. That's just to check your work. All right, 4/10 is equivalent to how many fifths? All right, well, to get the 5 to the 10, you got to go times 2, right? 5 times 2 is 10. So what times 2 would equal 4? Well, that would be 2. 2 times 2 equals 4. So 4/10 is equivalent to 2 fifths. 9 over 9 would equal 1 whole. So how do we make something over 12 a whole? You just make sure the numerator and denominator are the same number. 12 over 12 is the 1 whole, okay? All right, so that's your bell work for today. Tomorrow will be 3-5, which is Friday. All right. Here we go. On to our fluency sheet. So have your fluency sheet out and ready. If you don't have it just yet, go ahead and pause the video and get ready. We're going to do your second fluency reading, the electric car. All right. You know how to do these. You get 1 minute. On your mark, get set, and go. Thirty seconds. Ten seconds. And stop. Score, circle your last word that you read, score it, and put your score on the next page underneath your Tuesday score. Second box down below is today's score, which is your Thursday score, just like we did in class. All right, go and score that. If you want to pause the video, go ahead and do that. I'm going to move on. All right, moving on, we're going to read the whole passage, but first let's review the questions. That's good test-taking skills to review the questions first whenever your questions come from a passage that you have to read. So let's review the questions first so you know what to look for. All right. What were some things that caused people to buy electric cars in the late 1800s? All your answers will be in the reading. What was the effect of the Model T? Again, in your reading. And number 3, what is a possible effect of the following cause? An electric-powered car needs to be charged, and there are not a lot of places to recharge it while on the road. Use the information under the heading Pros and Cons to help you. Okay? So, on this back sheet, Pros and Cons, you'll be able to find that answer. That's a hard question. Try it. You know, if you have trouble with it, you can't find it, that's okay. But make sure you're doing at least 1 and 2, and make sure you're using complete sentences, not just like one-word answers. I want complete answers, okay? So capitalization in the beginning, proper ending, and more than just one-word answers. All right? All right, so let's read the passage, and then you guys can do the questions that follow. The electric car. Have you ever seen a person plug in a car? Some cars use electricity to run instead of gasoline. There are many good reasons to buy an electric-powered car, but there are also some downsides to keep in mind. Electric car history. An electric car runs on an electric motor. The car uses a foot pedal to move just like any other car, but it uses a battery to power the motor, not gas. Common household electricity is used to recharge the electric car battery. Electric engines got their start in the 1830s. For years they were improved. Better batteries were made. By the late 1800s, the cars were used by many people in the United States. Electric cars were easy to drive. Drivers did not have to change gears. Gas-powered cars needed a hand crank to get started. Electric cars did not. Many people used electric cars in cities. The cars drove smoothly. They made little noise. They also didn't have the smell of gas cars. Electric cars are even used as New York taxis in 1897. Then Henry Ford made the gas-powered Model T in 1908. It ran better than the old gas cars. It was cheaper to produce than electric cars. It ended the reign of the electric car. Second page. There are many reasons for people to buy electric cars today. They are good for the planet. They do not let pollution out into the air. Gas-powered cars use a tailpipe to let pollution escape. Electric cars don't need the upkeep that gas cars need. No oil changes, no trips to the gas station. There are fewer parts to an electric engine. This often means fewer problems. So it shows the battery, electric motor, where you might plug it in to charge it up. The main parts of an electric car. There are a few drawbacks to an electric powered car though. One thing is that it has to be charged. Charging times can vary. A full charge can take up to a few hours. Most electric cars can only go so far on one electric charge. A gasoline car can go farther on a full tank of gas. And there are plenty of gas stations around. Yet there are not many places to recharge an electric car. Electric car batteries may also need to be replaced. They cost a lot of money. They are also big and heavy. The electric car has been around a long time. The future is bright if car makers keep working to make it better. So, two of those questions, and you'll be all done with your reading. The back side, that's up to you. Usually we don't do these in class. I don't want to overwhelm you with a bunch of work. If you're bored and you want to do this, go ahead. It's up to you. But I'm only asking that you do this side, 1, 2, and 3, like we always do on Thursdays in class. Okay? All right, so that's today's lessons. Now we're on to cursive, and let's read Jack Sparrow. I think we left off and they had that big storm where they had to cut down the big main mast of their ship to keep it afloat. And it sounds like after the storm was over, they found an island. And let's see where we go from there. All right. Chapter 5. Swept along by a strong current and held by their wobbly mast and makeshift sails, the Barnacle made it to the island by the following morning. The island was barely a few miles across. It was clearly uninhabited, meaning nobody lived there. There were no columns of smoke and any towns or docks. The crew laid anchored, jumped into the water, and waded to shore. Maybe there will be a spring or a stream on that hill there, Arabella pointed at a rise. In the distance, as they climbed out onto the beach, it looked like the scrub turned into a thick, lush jungle inland. A good indication of fresh water. Because remember, you can't drink salt water. You can only drink fresh water. Absolutely, Fitzwilliam said cheerfully. You should go back and wait in the boat, and Jack and I will seek it out. Arabella stepped on Fitzwilliam's foot as she marched past him up the beach and away from the boat. Jack sighed. But there might be dangerous natives or beasts, Fitzwilliam protested as Arabella ignored his warnings. I see only one beast around here, Arabella muttered, glaring at Fitzwilliam as she hiked up her skirts and stepped into the brush. The weather on the island was very hot, weighed down with leather flasks and water bags. It was slow going for the three adventurers. Please, Arabella, Fitzwilliam said when she stumbled, at least let me take one of those bags from you. You're too weak to carry all that. Oh, Belle, Jack whined. Please let him act as your manservant if it's the only way to shut him up. Your mother must be very proud, Arabella grunted at Fitzwilliam as she handed her bags over to the strong young man. My mother died when I was 9, Fitzwilliam said, a fierce look on his face. I hope she would be proud of the man I have become. Oh, I'm sorry, Arabella said sincerely, remembering her own mother. I didn't realize I didn't know. Fitzwilliam stared into the distance sadly. It was after she died that my father first started looking into expanding his holdings into the New World. It was like he wanted to cut himself off from England and his old life forever. Talk as if we walk, mates. Chop, chop. No time to lose here, Jack said, ignoring Fitzwilliam's story and pushing through the jungle. He married my elder sisters off immediately, Fitzwilliam continued. The two sons of people he knew who had already moved here, to the New World. Some of them we had never ever even met, Fitzwilliam said to Arabella, whacking a bush aside with his sword. Not since we were all children, anyway. Jack, who was in front of them, rolled his eyes at Fitzwilliam's story. Fitzwilliam paused for a moment, wrestling a small tree out of the way. Anna, my favorite sister, was abducted by pirates. On the voyage over to meet her husband, and I have not seen her since. Blazes! I know that pain all too well myself. My mom was taken by pirates too. If you're like me, you didn't really have much reason to stick around once you got here, Arabella said softly. No, not really, Fitzwilliam agreed, a hard edge to his voice. In the same name of all that's blessed and blasted, Jack blurted out, can we please call the curtain on this dismal drama and focus on the matter at hand? Arabella and Fitzwilliam looked at Jack more disappointed than angry. Jack brushed himself off and cleared his throat. Very well, then carry on, Jack said. If the sun was hot, the morning they landed, it was nothing compared to midday. The crew finished what little rain water they had collected in their flasks and still saw no sign of any fresh water on the island. Fitzwilliam tried to hide it, but he began to cough with thirst. Arabella fell once, though she claimed she had stumbled on a root. Jack looked worriedly at his companions. None of them would be able to go on much longer. A stupid, terrible way to end an adventure. Come on, Jack said with a forced smile. It looks like the brush thins out up ahead. It'll be cool and shady under those trees, and we can rest there for a while. Arabella nodded wearily. As Jack pushed the brushes aside and led his two mates into the clearing, he was thrilled and a little surprised to see that it was exactly what he had told them. Cool, shady, nice, soft grass to relax on. And he was just as surprised as seeing the clearing two boys working over what looked like a makeshift raft. Well, bonsoir and bienvenue, the first kid said. Look what we got here, Tumen. New friends, and maybe even a way off this island. Chapter 6 will be tomorrow. Alright, tomorrow's Friday. Make sure you have your studying your spelling words and ready for your spelling test. And we will take that spelling test tomorrow. The science sheet that I gave you for Friday, that's extra if you want to do it, okay? But I don't want to make these videos too long, so we're just going to do bell work, spelling test, and cursive with me reading you tomorrow. And we'll be done with week 3. All right, good work.